Let's explore 4 toxic habits that can significantly diminish the respect others have for you. These aren't trivial quirks. They are behaviors that can profoundly impact your reputation and fracture your relationships. You might think, sure, everyone has their flaws, and you're absolutely correct. However, the habits we're about to examine are particularly detrimental because they strike at the very heart of our interactions with others. They can quickly turn a blossoming friendship or a promising professional relationship into something bitter and regretful. To make this topic more relatable, I'll share some personal anecdotes that reveal my own missteps. Believe me, I've learned invaluable lessons from my mistakes, and I want to share those lessons with you. These stories are candid and revealing, but I trust that by opening up about them, we can all achieve growth. By recognizing and addressing these habits, we can pave the way for a life filled with dignity and respect. We'll also draw inspiration from Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that provides enduring guidance for living a virtuous and fulfilling life. Stoicism transcends mere endurance. It's about fostering inner peace, integrity, and resilience. So grab your favorite beverage, settle in, and let's embark on this journey together. Habit 1. Gossiping. Let's confront gossiping head-on. It's a habit that many of us engage in, yet few are willing to acknowledge. I was once a notorious gossip myself, and it took some harsh lessons for me to understand the true damage it can inflict. In college, gossiping became almost a competitive sport among my friends and me. We would spend hours dissecting every intricate detail of others' lives. Initially, it seemed harmless and even enjoyable, fostering a sense of connection, as if we were initiated into some secret club. However, the reality is that gossiping is a toxic behavior that can obliterate trust and respect. Here's a confession I wish I could take back. There was a girl in our circle. Let's refer to her as Emily. She was unique, quirky, and introverted, often feeling out of place. One day I learned that she had a crush on a guy whom many would consider out of her league. Instead of safeguarding her feelings, I shared that information with my friends, thinking it would spark some amusing banter. Before I knew it, the story had spread like wildfire. When Emily discovered what we'd been saying, the look of hurt and betrayal on her face was devastating. She withdrew from our group and eventually stopped showing up altogether. At the time, I dismissed the situation, but I later realized just how far I had crossed the line. The Stoics, such as Epictetus, emphasize the importance of focusing on our own character while refraining from meddling in the affairs of others. Gossiping not only squanders time, it also contaminates the trust within our relationships. Keep silence for the most part, and speak only when you must, and then briefly, advised Epicurus. Engaging in gossip undermines trust. It leads others to question what you might be saying about them when they're not around. This creates an atmosphere rife with suspicion and betrayal. I learned this lesson the hard way when my careless words came back to haunt me. Another significant incident took place during my first job. I had a co-worker, whom we'll call John, who was not only incredibly diligent, but also somewhat of a loner. One day, I overheard a conversation revealing that John was facing a serious health issue. Instead of honoring his privacy, I foolishly shared this sensitive information with a few colleagues, thinking it would spark an engaging discussion. Naturally, John found out, and when he confronted me, it wasn't with anger, but rather with a profound sense of hurt and disappointment. He expressed that he had trusted me with that information, believing I would keep it confidential. From that moment on, our professional relationship was irrevocably changed. I had squandered his respect and trust, and the responsibility for that fell squarely on my shoulders. This experience imparted a pivotal lesson. We must honor the privacy of others. Everyone is grappling with their own struggles and vulnerabilities. When you turn someone's personal life into gossip, you're not only disrespecting them, you're also showcasing a profound lack of integrity within yourself. The Stoics championed uplifting and constructive dialogue. Rather than engaging in gossip, strive to foster positive conversations that empower and uplift those around you. Keep in mind that if someone feels comfortable gossiping to you, they are equally likely to speak about you in the same manner. Habit 2. Being unreliable. Now, let's delve into the topic of reliability. This issue resonates with many, and it's a habit that can significantly undermine respect. Reliability serves as the cornerstone of any relationship, whether it's personal or professional. If people can't rely on you, respect for you will dissipate swiftly. I have a personal anecdote that illustrates this. During my early 20s, I earned a reputation among my friends as the unreliable one. I would frequently make plans, only to cancel last minute or simply not show up. At the time, I thought it was inconsequential. After all, life can be hectic, right? However, one particular incident served as a significant wake-up call. A dear friend of mine, Sarah, was hosting a birthday party. She had poured her heart into planning and organizing every intricate detail for weeks. I assured her I'd be there, but on the day of the event, I lost track of time and ultimately decided not to attend. I didn't even inform her until hours after the party had begun. When I finally reached out, I could sense the disappointment in her voice. Although she didn't express much, I could feel the weight of my failure to be there for her. Our friendship never quite recovered. She gradually stopped inviting me to gatherings, and we drifted apart. Being unreliable communicates a powerful message. Your word holds no weight. If you commit to something, follow through. If you promise to attend an event, make it a priority to be there. This behavior reflects a fundamental respect for other people's time and efforts. I have another story from my professional journey that highlights this. Early in my career, I developed a troubling pattern of overcommitting and under-delivering. I would eagerly agree to take on projects, only to miss deadlines frequently and without notice. I naively believed that my charm and quick excuses would smooth over my shortcomings, but my boss wasn't buying it. During a candid performance review, she laid it out plainly. Your work is commendable when completed, but your unreliability is a significant issue. People can't be sure they can depend on you. This served as a harsh but necessary wake-up call. Reliability means much more than simply showing up. It's about demonstrating consistency and integrity. When you commit to a task, you wager your reputation. Each time you fail to deliver, you erode the trust others place in you. So how can we rectify this issue? First and foremost, practice honesty with yourself regarding your capabilities and limitations. Avoid the trap of overcommitting. If you make a promise, honor it. Additionally, prioritize proactive communication. If circumstances arise that prevent you from delivering on your commitments, demonstrate that you value others' time as much as your own by keeping them informed. By embodying reliability, you cultivate the respect and trust of those in your circle. This straightforward yet profound approach can significantly enhance your relationships and solidify your reputation. Habit 3. Interrupting others. Now let's tackle the habit of interrupting others. This topic can spark debate since many people engage in it unconsciously. But let's face it, frequent interruptions reveal a significant lack of respect. It conveys the message, "What I have to say is far more important than your input." This behavior not only frustrates others, but also leaves them feeling undervalued and unheard. I once struggled with being a chronic interrupter myself. I mistakenly believed it demonstrated enthusiasm and intelligence, but in truth, it highlighted my impatience and disrespect. Here's a personal experience that underscored this lesson for me. In one of my early positions, I participated in team meetings that revolved around brainstorming. Eager to make an impression, I would often jump in with my ideas, frequently interrupting my colleagues mid-sentence. I thought I was being proactive, but my teammates had a different perspective. During a particularly charged meeting, my manager took the initiative to pause the discussion and addressed me directly. "You must allow others to finish their thoughts," she stated openly. "You're not truly listening. You're merely waiting for your moment to speak." I felt a wave of embarrassment wash over me, but the lesson didn't stop there. Following the meeting, a colleague discreetly approached me and said, "Are you aware of how dismissive you seem? It's as though you believe your ideas are the only ones that hold value." That remark struck a deep chord within me. I had never perceived myself as dismissive, but evidently, that was the impression I had left on others. Interrupting isn't merely a social faux pas. It reflects a lack of self-discipline and respect. The Stoics held listening and comprehension in higher regard than speaking. Seneca wisely encourages us to exercise patience and consideration in our conversations. I vividly recall another incident. I was out one evening with friends, and one friend began sharing a deeply personal narrative about his struggles with anxiety. Midway through, I interjected with my own experience, naively believing that it would provide him with reassurance. Instead, he looked at me and said, "Could I finish my story?" The atmosphere shifted abruptly. What I perceived as a gesture of empathy was interpreted as an interruption of his moment. That evening, I came to a significant realization. True listening transcends merely hearing words. It's about being genuinely present and allowing others the space to express themselves completely. By interrupting, I was sabotaging that essential process, shifting the focus from them to myself. To dismantle this habit, begin practicing active listening. When someone is sharing their thoughts, commit to genuinely listening. Don't simply bide your time until it's your turn to speak. Grant them the opportunity to articulate their complete thoughts before you respond. This approach is not only straightforward, but also profoundly impactful in demonstrating respect and forming deeper connections. Keep in mind that interrupting implies that you view your words as more significant than theirs. It's about honoring the contributions of others and cultivating a culture of mutual respect. The next time you find yourself in conversation, challenge yourself to engage in authentic listening. You may be astounded by how much more insight you gain and how significantly your respect grows in the eyes of those around you. Habit 4. Complaining. Complaining is a tendency that's not only irritating, but also profoundly damaging. While it's perfectly acceptable to vent on occasion, habitual complaining can transform you into a negative presence that others instinctively want to distance themselves from. This behavior can sap your energy and the energy of those around you, ultimately leading to lost respect and strained relationships. I can personally relate to this experience, as I was once a chronic complainer. I believe that vocalizing my frustrations created a bond with others, allowing us to connect over shared grievances. However, it didn't take long for me to realize just how harmful this habit could be. Allow me to share a personal anecdote. A few years back, I found myself in a job that left me feeling incredibly frustrated. The workload was overwhelming, the management lacked organization, and I felt undervalued in my role. Instead of proactively seeking solutions or methods to improve my circumstances, I resorted to complaining to anyone who would listen, my co-workers, friends, and even family members. They were all subjected to my endless litany of grievances. Initially, people responded with sympathy, nodding in agreement and sharing their own complaints as a form of camaraderie. However, as time passed, I noticed a concerning change. People began to avoid me, conversations became brief, and I found myself excluded from after-work gatherings more frequently. The tipping point occurred when a dear friend said to me, "I care about you, but your negativity is becoming overwhelming. It's exhausting to be around you." The Stoics emphasize the importance of focusing on what can be controlled while accepting what cannot. A constant habit of complaining keeps you trapped in negativity, impacting your outlook and how others view you. It signals that you prioritize problems over solutions, which is hardly an appealing trait. Another moment that reinforced this lesson took place during a group project in college. One of my teammates, whom we'll refer to as Mike, was a perpetual complainer. In every meeting, he would lament about the unfairness of the workload, criticize the professor's competence, and question the project's purpose. His pervasive negativity had a contagious effect, and before long, the entire team's morale dipped significantly. We all just wanted to push through and complete the project. Gaining insight from this experience was illuminating. It opened my eyes to how my own complaints might have similarly impacted those around me. I resolved to adopt a different mindset. I began practicing gratitude and shifted my focus toward solutions rather than complaints. Rather than voicing my dissatisfaction about work, I took the initiative to pinpoint specific issues and explore ways to tackle them. If I felt undervalued, I proactively sought constructive feedback on how I could enhance my performance and crafted a compelling case for a raise. When faced with disorganized management, I took it upon myself to streamline processes within my control. Admittedly, this transformation wasn't instantaneous. It required effort and patience. However, the outcomes proved to be immensely rewarding. People began to acknowledge my positive shift in attitude. My relationships flourished, and I gradually regained the respect I had previously lost. I transformed into someone others were eager to collaborate with, rather than someone they felt compelled to avoid. Thank you for tuning in. If you found this video insightful, please hit that like button, subscribe for more content, and share it with anyone who could benefit from this message. Together, let's aim to lead lives filled with greater respect and understanding. Until we meet again, stay resilient and embrace the Stoic mindset.